Hello, I'm Makida Moka Onyekweli. Yes, Moka is now my middle name because I recently got married. And I planned the wedding myself, so it was an interesting process, but I learned a lot. And I feel like I have tips and tricks to maneuvering this whole wedding planning process, so I decided to do these videos. So this video is about how to pick your vendors. Like tips and tricks and interesting key points to note when you're picking your vendor. So first of all, a vendor is anybody that is offering you a good or a service. So vendors offer goods and services, and you need a vendor for every single thing when you're planning a wedding. Unless, of course, you are the vendor, then you are the vendor. So you need yourself to provide the service on the day. And picking your vendors is actually like a really, really important thing, because vendors can make or break your event or make or break your wedding. The first tip for me to you is like a gift from me to you. Anyway, the first tip is don't be afraid to talk to as many vendors as you can when you're shopping for a particular service. Like, this helps you know how they treat their customers or potential customers, and this would eventually like translate to how they would relate with you if you eventually pick them or choose them to provide the particular service that you need. So don't be afraid to talk to as many vendors as possible. The second tip is that as you talk to them, let them send you invoices and let them send you quotes so that you can compare their pricing, so that you know that you are picking the best price out of all the people that you have spoken to. So that means you have to speak to a lot of people. Like, if you're looking for a decor person, speak to up to like 5 or 6 people. If you're looking for a cake person, speak to like up to 5 or 6 people, so that you can compare the pricing and see which one works better for your budget. Also, you can see how they behave, how quick they send you the invoice, how nice they are responding, if they pick up their phone at all. Because there are some vendors that I try to get their numbers off their social media accounts, and I called once, called twice, and nobody picked up. And that's a bad sign, because it means that when you eventually get them, the day that you want to ask them for something, or you paid them money and you want to get them to come and do something, they might not pick up their phone, you will not find them. So, and that's a major thing. The third thing to do is don't be afraid to set up a meeting. Like, make sure that they're available to meet. Because it's actually a cool thing, because it helps you read the person. It helps you see how you feel about them. How you feel about a vendor is actually a big deal. Because if you feel like this vendor or this person is going to, give you top quality service, you are not going to worry about anything. And you have so many things like going on at the same time as you're planning your wedding. So you don't want to, be worrying about one particular thing. So if you have a meeting, a request for a meeting, have them try and meet them up, see if they turn up late, see if they apologize for being late, see if they turn up early. Another point to note is ask for as many things as they can give you. Ask for extra stuff and see if see who's willing to stretch the budget for you. See who's willing to make sure that you have a good day, to give you extra things, extra touches. And you want it to be perfect. And if you can get extra things for your money, why not? So ask the vendors if there are extra things that they can offer you that comes with the service. This is especially good for hair and makeup and photography, because if you can get a hair trial and a makeup trial, you can save money on that for your pre-wedding shoot. So if you get a hair trial and a makeup trial, it means that on the day it's like a rehearsal. So they do your makeup how you would want it to look on the day. So you know exactly what you will look like on the day. You can say, oh, I don't like how you did this. They can fix it for you. So that on your wedding day, you know that you're just sitting down there and you already know what you're going to look like because you've had this conversation with them before. And it's the same thing with your hair. And one tip to note is that when you do your hair and makeup trial, you can actually use that for your pre-wedding shoot. So you don't have to pay extra money for that on the day that you're, doing your pre-wedding shoot. This is good if your photography package comes with a pre-wedding, comes with a pre-wedding shoot, like it's in the package. So you should make sure that you're able to ask and see what extra things that you can get when you're talking to a vendor. It's also good because if your cocktail lady or your cocktail guy, if he can do drinks management for you on the day, it's actually better for you because it means that you can get your cocktails and get your drinks managed by one vendor. So you don't have to speak to 2 different vendors for almost the same thing. Make sure that you search online, like do your research for these vendors. Like if you're, for example, when we were looking for an MC, we wanted a certain type of MC. We didn't want all those ones that crack dry jokes and are always like just talking. Because some MCs, I don't understand why they do this. They don't understand that they are just there to make sure that the events of the day go on as nicely and smoothly as possible. They feel like that microphone, they should just be talking, just be talking, just be talking. And that's when they start saying dry jokes, like saying things that they're not supposed to say and just making everybody just feel tired. So we needed an MC that knew exactly what he was there for, that it was not about him, it was about us. And we knew exactly how we wanted the day to go. So finding an MC that would, do exactly what we wanted to do was a bit tough. First of all, I wanted my friend to do it, Koye, but he couldn't do it because he was a groomsman at somebody else's wedding on that day. Whatever, but anyway. So he recommended somebody, which was actually interesting because that person was on Twitter. So I reached out to the person and I talked to him and told him exactly what I wanted, and he was like, yeah, cool. But I never met him before, so I didn't know what he had done, but his recommendations were top notch. So what I did as well was that I asked on Twitter, asking people on Twitter who their favorite MCs for, weddings were. And funnily enough, this same MC that was recommended to us, his name came up a lot. Over 20 people said this same person's name. So I thought, okay, cool. This could be a good guy to get. And sure enough, he actually was, because we met him. Oliver and I met him, and we had a good connection. He understood what we wanted to do. And a good thing that he did was that he helped us plan the events of the day in that meeting. So that was also a cool thing that he did, that we thought, you know what, this guy knows what he's doing, let's have him. And he was actually fantastic on the day. So shout out to my MC, yay. Social media can actually be a really good tool when you're picking your vendors. It can act as a sounding board for you and for the vendors. So it's also a good tool because on Instagram, people who have been dissatisfied by a service from a vendor also talk about it on Instagram. So if you have a particular vendor that you want to use, you can search for their name, or search, even Google, you can search for their name. And if you see any articles or any posts that people have put up on blogs about that person, you can read about them and see if they're a good person to pick or not. Another thing to note about picking your vendors is that a lot of good vendors are not on social media. So you have to go off recommendations, and you have to actually attend events to see who these vendors are. Go to weddings that they invite you, though. Don't be doing mugbomoya. So go to events, eat the food, see how the event is run, so that you know whether, this person did really good at this wedding. Maybe I can get them for my own wedding if you like their service. So, and to be honest, most of the vendors who are not on social media charge reasonable amounts for their service. So Instagram famous vendors, they charge because they are famous on Instagram, not necessarily because they're actually good at what they do. Just because people use them and and they are famous on Instagram, they charge more. And to be honest, I don't think that that's a good thing to do. You should charge according to the service that you provide. Like I know that there are planners on Instagram that charge a lot of money, but when it comes down to actually planning and seeing that everything went well on the day, their work is not that exciting. So what are you charging that amount for, just because of the name, so that I can be like, oh yeah, I got my wedding planned by this person, or this person planned? Like, that's not what you really need to be thinking about when you're picking your vendors. It's not about the hype, it's about actually getting the work done on the day. So make sure that you're able to, meet them and see how you feel about them. Also make sure that you can see how they feel when you ask them for like things that are not necessarily, part of like their job description. See how they feel. Like if they say, oh yeah, cool, I have somebody that can do that for you, cool. Or if they're like, oh no, we don't do that. If there's no like, what's the word to use? If they're not accommodating, that might be a bad sign, because it means that they don't want to, go above and beyond for you on your wedding day. Anyway, so I think those are the main tips when you're picking your vendors. And if you have any other like experiences or any questions that you want me to, talk about as regards to picking your vendors, let me know. Send me a message, leave a comment. And I hope that this video has, set you on the right path when you're picking your vendors. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, let me know.